Hey guys, it's Radical here, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single map in Free Facilities history, starting from the newest Halloween update in 2025 all the way back to 2017. This means I'm going to be including all the maps, that have gotten changes and stuff. Like, we have I think five versions of Abandoned Facility on here. One of them being the old version, new version, Optimus, the remake, and Forgotten Facility. But that's just, like a little example of what we'll be doing in this video. But let's just jump straight to it. I thought it would be a good way to do this map ranking thing by starting with the newest update, which is the Halloween update, which sets the tone for the video because at my number 26 spot is the newest Backrooms map. Well, not the newest, but the recently added Backrooms map at a 0 out of 10 for me. And you're probably wondering, no, I'm just kidding. You know damn well why Backrooms is at 26. This map is literally a maze. I'm surprised if people can literally remember this map. I can remember certain parts of where computers are, but it's getting to them that are bad. And don't even get me started on the fake annoying doors. The first time I played, oh my gosh, I can't speak. The first time I played Backrooms, I literally got jump scared by those things that I was not expecting it. It's not a bad map, but everywhere you look is just the same. And even the gameplay in general, even if the gameplay was fine, the details and just the map in general is annoying. The gameplay sucks in my opinion. The vents are in terrible spots for the beast and also terrible spots for the flowers, 50-50s with those. I don't know if that makes the map balance into 50-50, but whatever, it's just annoying. I have Backrooms at my number 26 spot. And literally 3 points away. I went from 0 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10. And our number 25 spot is Laboratory Complex. This map was recently removed. It was actually the version 2 of it. And I guess we're getting a V3. That's what I heard at least. But I thought we would have got it by now already. So I don't know what's going on with that map. This map is a huge step up from Backrooms. But like I said, this map is also kind of like a maze. But I have it rated so low because one, when this map was released, I took an entire gear break off Free Facility. Not intentionally, I kind of just grew out of the game. And when I finally came back, when Lab Complex was still in, everyone had already played the map enough to say, no, this map sucks, they don't want to play it. So one, I couldn't even get to learn the map properly for when it was rarely voted, once in a blue moon. But when it was, it honestly it felt like a maze to me, and the map didn't really look too appealing. I hope the V3 when it comes back will be way better. Moving on to the new school map. So at my number 21st spot, rated at 3.5 out of 10. I just hate this map. I don't know if you watch my streams or anything, chat, but I just hate this map compared, the keyword, compared to the old school map. You'll notice that the school map is actually really high on this list compared to the old school. So I'm not going to talk too much about this version of school because I'll talk about it in the old version, but I just hate the revamp and the rework. I just think it was unneeded and I hate it now. That's all I have to say about this map. Alright, and at the number 23 and number 22 spot, I have a Abandoned Facility Old, which is the 2017 version, and Abandoned Facility New, which is the 2018 version. Now that I look at this list, I realize I could have just grouped both of these together as one map, because realistically I'm talking about the 2017 version and 2018 version while also grouping them right beside each other. But the thing about these two maps is that for both, I think the years in general, the gameplay is absolutely horrendous for these two maps. You'll notice that the other Abandoned Facility map, I think it's Optimus, is way higher because I genuinely think it's just a better version of Abandoned Facility. This version is, I don't know how to describe it, except there's a couple events that were annoying as hell if you were the beast. I just don't like the gameplay for this map, and it definitely got upgraded and it was way better in the Optimus version. But also I don't do too much research on this map, so I don't know when the gameplay actually changed to the current Optimus version for the new one. But I'm going to group these together just to make things simpler for myself. And another Abandoned Facility map that I'm not the biggest fan of is Abandoned Facility Remake. This map I think came out during 2022 or 3 or 1, between those years, and it was eventually removed I think in either less than a year or just after a year. I don't know how long this map was out. I just know that this map was one of the maps really hated by the community. The remake was terrible, but I did kind of like it just because it was a newer map, and back then we barely got any new maps. I think we only had Library and Airport from the base 3 after. And at my number 20 spot, this is gonna shock a lot of you, and I promise if for whatever reason this video goes viral, there's gonna be some heavy debates in the comments with myself with this pick. But at number 20, I have Sanctuary Zoo at a 5 out of 10. Okay, notice how we're only 6 spots down the list and we're already at 5 out of 10. That's Free Facility maps are really goated and it's hard to choose between the ones. But it was easy to put this at my number 20 spot because I genuinely despise the gameplay. I think I'd rate the gameplay for Sanctuary Zoo a 1 out of 10 and the details a 4 out of 10, which makes up for the 5 out of 10, if that makes sense. because Sanctuary Zoo looks like it's a beautiful map. It looks amazing, like, it's like, you know, just based off the gameplay, it's like the map is really nicely polished and stuff. It hasn't fallen, has cool like hidden details. It's a zoo, dude. Like, well, I'm not saying zoos are cool. I hate them, they stink. But in general, they orchestrated it amazingly. But I hate how big the map is. It's terrible for survivors and the beast. So let me jump to a map that was recently added, just like Sanctuary Zoo, which is the Nuclear Power Plant remake at a 5.3 out of 10. Now, you might be wondering, wait, what the hell? You like the old version better than the remake? I like a lot of old maps better than the remakes. I have this map pretty close to its original and like ranking stuff. This one's at a 5.3. Its regular is somewhere in the 6s. This map is like Sanctuary Zoo, hella big. I'm also still learning this map, so I can't even rate it that much. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna put it at the 19th spot. It's also because it was released with the new Seer perk, and I think this map is terrible when you're a survivor, because see, there's like literally no closets anywhere. It's hard to find closets in this map. And at number 18, a pretty similar map to Nuclear Power Plant is the Sewer Treatment Plant. Is that what it's called? Sewer Treatment Plant? Whatever. I have this map rated at a 5.5, so just better than the remake. Honestly, I'm not even going into depth with this map. I think you guys are gonna know why I have this map pretty like low up on the list. It was just a maze, you know? It was a maze. The map didn't look nice. It was a sewer, like, ew. And I didn't learn the map. It was such a big map that it was in the game for so long, and I still never learned it. Like, I recognize rooms, but I don't know how to get to those rooms, so that makes sense. Except for like certain rooms. But I just have it rated at 5.5 because, well, I don't really know the map. And in my number 17 spot, I have the new version of the library map at a 6 out of 10. And this library map isn't bad. Like, we reached the 6s in this list, which, you know, if you were to rate something 6 out of 10, like, oh, it's good, but it could be better. That's what I think about this library map. I think the library map is good, but it could definitely be better. And there's a better version of it, which is the old version, which is coming up actually pretty later in this list, like almost 10 spots down. But I just think this version of the map was ruined when it got remade. The gameplay is annoying. You can loop the beast in terrible spots. It just seems unbalanced. It's also a really big map. So one, the computers are close together, which can be both bad and good for the survivors. But it's such a big map, I low-key think it's bad for the beast. And another map I have rated at 6 out of 10 is in the number 16 spot, which is the old abandoned prison. Now, I'm actually someone who loves abandoned prison. I'll tell you right now. But like I said, I'm not just rating the map on how I feel about it. I'm rating it on the balancing and the gameplay. And abandoned prison old, the 2017 version, has got to have the worst balancing ever. The vents are absolutely ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how this went through. I guess they didn't really care how their vents were back then. You know, there's supposed to be a way to escape the beast. But there's supposed to be a way to escape the beast in the short term, not the long term. Have you guys seen the vents on the old map? And even in the new version, they're still terrible. But they're like, you know, it's abandoned prison. Who doesn't love abandoned prison? Maybe there's definitely some people who out there who hate this map. But the old version, I gotta give it to you, 6 out of 10. The gameplay was terrible. And at 6.5, like I said earlier, it was gonna come up sooner or later. We have Nuclear Power Plant, the old version. Now remember, I have the remake at 5.3, this one at 6.5. They're not that big of a difference. This one's I like this map. It's pretty fun to play on in my opinion sometimes, but it's also, like I said, actually no, this map isn't big. It's just confusing. It also has some really long hallways everywhere. And then that big middle that just takes up majority of the space. It's kind of annoying because imagine just the middle and there's just rooms scattered around. I think Facility O does the middle room better. So yeah, it takes a majority of the map, but the way the rooms are orchestrated is just so much better in my opinion. And at our number 14 spot, rated 0.01 higher than Nuclear Power Plant, I have Abandoned Prison Maximus at 6.51 out of 10. And I genuinely just think this map is better than Nuclear Power Plant, but I can't figure out what is better. So I just put it 0.01, you know, like points higher. I don't know what to call it. Just gonna call them points. But Abandoned Prison Maximus, at first, it was recency bias, just like how Sanctuary Zoo, I was gonna rate it a 10 out of 10 when it first came out, and then I rated it, I think it was a 5 out of 10. It was recency bias that got me this map and made me love it. When I'm putting it into a gameplay perspective, and just in general, it is gonna have to be rated this low because one, the computers are absolutely beside each other. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why the computers are all beside each other, but it is completely so annoying for the survivors and amazing as the beast. I mean, the gameplay seems really beast-sadder in almost every single aspect of this map, especially the camping spots. Oh, don't even get me started on the camping spots. But I'm not gonna go into too depth. into this because I don't want this video to be too long. I just have, Maximus rated this low because, I have this map rated like, 3 points higher than the original abandoned facility, or I guess 2 points higher. Because I generally just think Optimus is like a far better version of the map. I like the blue fog aesthetic to abandoned Optimus, and I think the gameplay was, it was reduced. All the annoying spots, they were removed. Like that annoying vent in the corner of the map got replaced by a window that's even closer to the door, where it's actually balanced for the beast. But I do use that window to abuse the beast, kind of, so it's still annoying for the beast. But you know what? They got rid of the annoying vent. And like I said, I'm all for the balancing of maps. I want it to be fair for the beast, but also fair for the survivors. And another new map that just got released that's permanent, I'm happy to hear that's permanent, is Ghost Town, our number 12 spot, and I rated it a 7 out of 10. Now, just like Nuclear Power Plant, the remake, I'm still learning this map, so I couldn't rate it, too high, but I genuinely think this map's details are beautiful. Also, we just passed the halfway point, so let's just keep that in mind, These maps are all, they're all good. There's not a single map that's bad in this list. There's just some that are better than others now that we've reached the halfway point. But yeah, Ghost Town is one of those maps that's not bad. I just gotta learn it more, and also from what I've seen, it's like there's lots of spots where you can just kind of jump over the beast's head. They don't even know, and the roofs are kind of annoying. But I still, have to play a bit, and it just looks nice. The polishing looks amazing. I gotta keep it at like halfway through the list, even though it's not halfway through the point, But whatever, who cares? And a map that honestly jumps a lot, especially when we're thinking of how close we are to a 10 out of 10, is Facility Zero. And this might shock a bunch of you, like, why is Facility Zero not in the top 5 or the top 3? This map is terrible on balancing. What the heck? Like I said, I'm all for the balancing, and also this map looks, if you were to put it in a polishing perspective, this map looks absolutely terrible. I mean, it's the first map in the game. Obviously, it's gonna look terrible, but like, if we're putting on that perspective, this map should be a 2 out of 10. I'll tell you that. But that's not what I'm basing it on. I'm basing it off the gameplay. I genuinely love the gameplay for this map, but it is a vent spam. I'm pretty sure there's one area where there's like there's 4 vents in a diagonal line. It's so stupid. I can show gameplay, probably me running past this line, or someone at least. But like, dude, this map and its vents are annoying. So annoying. The only way it's silent for the beast is if you get 2 computers in either the middle room or the blue rooms. And if you get tubes in both those rooms, you can also, kind of get the survivors with that. Middle's a good spot to put people in, but it's also good for campers, which they need to nerf. They gotta move those stairs and like side upwards. Alright, and jumping from 7.5 all the way to an 8 out of 10 is, like I said, very closer to the top of the list. I have the old school map, and you know what? I'm also gonna throw in the old library map, also at an 8 out of 10 at the number 9 spot. And the reason I'm throwing both these maps together is because they're both, like, honestly, I'm pretty sure they released like a pretty close time frame and stuff. And I just like both these maps better because I feel like the gameplay was better, the map looked better. I just think everything about these old versions are better than their newer versions. I think they got ruined, in my opinion, with Library's Overhaul and School's remake. In our number 8 spot, this one is probably going to have controversy because I've seen people say this is the worst map in Free Facility, but please understand where I'm coming from. I have Forgotten Facility at an 8.2 out of 10. If you guys don't know this map, I mean, it makes sense. The map is literally named Forgotten Facility, but also this map came during the Abandoned Facility remake, and people were more focused on that one because obviously it's a remake of a map that just got removed that's been in Free Facility for like since the OG days. So people were more focused on that map. This map was voted less, but I genuinely think, just like Optimus, a blue version of Abandoned Facility is just amazingly better, and it was done so good. They even made the walls green and stuff like that. The color scheme was amazing in my opinion, and the gameplay, I genuinely love the gameplay. The vent in the middle I thought was pretty fun to kind of pretend to the beast that I just went in there and then juke him and run away and stuff. It could also be annoying if the beast like sees that you fell because then you runner and just get you, because back then we only had runner. I mean, if they brought this map back, I would be super happy. Now, in our number 7 spot is another one of the newer maps. In fact, I think this is the last new map. Well, new map as of this year, because they have been cooking out a lot of new maps this year. But my number 7 spot is Spaceship at an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, as you can see from the other maps, I'm in love with blue maps. Blue fog, blue atmosphere, and Spaceship is one of those maps in a blue hue. Now, actually, the interior kind of looks pretty like gray and white and black and stuff like that. But you guys know what I mean when I say Spaceship is blue. It has that blue interior, blue hue, etc. But I'm not just gonna say that every map blue here is like the best map in the game. Like the gameplay of Spaceship, I think is actually like one of the most balanced. There's a few like lockers over here and there, so it's good for Seer and for Stalker. It's really fun as Beast for Stalker, but like because it's all like enclosed and stuff like that. But I just think this map's amazing in every aspect. I think the only thing that needs a bit for the work is the computer spots. But I won't go into too much depth in that. It's not that big of a deal. At my number 6 spot, another one that might be controversial, but I think it's fine where it is Homestead at an 8.8 out of 10. And I love Homestead. It's one of the classic maps. I remember like being an OG player when the Homestead map would either glitch or it was chosen. I don't know what it was, but it was always like daytime, and I thought it looked really cool. It was the first lighted map in Flee the City. I don't think there's a single map that's actually in daytime for Flee the City, which makes sense. It is technically under the genre of a horror game, but we know damn well Flee the City ain't scary. But regardless, I think Homestead is a pretty good map. I mean, I would have rated it a 26 if I considered the new double jump mechanic. Like I would have put it as like worse than vacuums, but I'm not gonna rate it off that. I'm just gonna rate it off assuming double jump was never in the game. I hate this map if you didn't know for double jump, but I'm not gonna let that get in the way of my ranking. I think this map is amazing. The gameplay is balanced. There are some spots for survivors and spots for some beasts like logs. Alright, number 5. We got into the top 5 now, chat. I think these last 5 you could generally all like agree to put these at number 1 on my end. But I think some maps you guys are going to find controversial. But after the number 5 spot, every single map starts with the letter A. I don't know if that means something though, because the abandoned facility maps are rated pretty low on this list. But at my number 5 spot is Haunted Mansion. And I know Haunted Mansion got an overhaul recently, but it kind of looks the same, chat. So I didn't rank it old and new version. Plus, Haunted Mansion is pretty recent on the map spectrum. So I didn't think it was worth putting a new old version, especially if it was like in like a 2 months map. It's not, but you know what I mean. So I have this map at a 9 out of 10 because I think the only thing this map is lacking is space. It is a really cramped 3-story map. Well, now the basement is kind of irrelevant in this overhaul, but I'm gonna base the overall Haunted Mansion map. It has 3 floors, but it is kind of annoying. I honestly don't know if it's Beast-sided or Survivor-sided, but that's good because that means you know it's balanced. Because I don't know if I do better as Beast or better as Survivor on this map. It kind of feels like I do the same. Speaking of a map, which I actually almost forgot to include this ranking, is Arcade at a 9.5 out of 10. Another blue-hued map, so you guys can kind of catch the trend here, you know, with blue maps. I just love them, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like they make the game feel cooler and more special. And Arcade is a good definition of that, which has amazing gameplay. At number 3, we have Abandoned Prison New. When I say new, I don't mean the Maximus version we have right now in 2025. I mean from 2018 to 2024. Well, I guess some of 2025, but yeah. This prison map, this old version, I genuinely love. One of my favorite maps. You probably heard me yapping about it on stream when it was still a thing. Regardless, I genuinely love this map. Amazing gameplay. Except for the vents. The vents were still annoying during this version, but it got changed. There's some updates that kind of changed how abandoned prison work and stuff. Regardless, I don't even want to criticize the gameplay. I just love everything about this map. And at my number 2 spot is Arctic Station, another blue-hued map. And you know what? I'm just gonna get it over with. At my number 1 spot is Airport, dude. They're both blue-hued maps. They have blue color scheme, stuff like that, blue sky, etc. They're also both, I guess they both have snow. Maybe that means something. I don't know. But I just think these maps are amazing. Man, they should have released these for the winter update. Now, basically, both these maps have amazing gameplay. Airport, it's kind of the nostalgia for me that has it up here so much. I like the gameplay too, but I think the nostalgia kind of carries it for me. Because the design, materials, details, they're all pretty classic. But so is Abandoned Prison. So you know what? If we're going to apply that same context here, I don't think it really matters. And Arctic Station, one of the newer maps, is amazingly built. Like the design, details, materials, color palette, everything like design related to this map is just amazing. I love it. I think it's cool. And the gameplay is also fun. There are parts where I actually get annoyed as like these. They seem like really loopable on the Survivor's end. But regardless, both these maps are amazing, and I can't wait to see what maps are Flee released in the future. Chat, if you did enjoy this video, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. You guys know the drill. I say it every video. Alright, peace.